Hi everybody, welcome back to the Alba Smiling Faces podcast, brought to you by Guillermo Clothing and GEORDIE Gifts.
Well done, fourth take. We got that one right.
Second take.
Yeah, it was second.
So we haven't had a match at the weekend. It was international football. So
No, we didn't lose, so.
we didn't use it, yeah. So we're still the same position we were before the international
Been
break in the league.
great. Been a
Haven't
great
dropped
week.
anyway.
It's been a great week.
So
Are you sure? I'm not convinced, like, the way people are going on Twitter.
well, Premier League football is back.
Oh, they're kicking off.
Always.
Always kicking off. So
Always.
Premier League football is back. We've got a trip to Anfield on Saturday.
Liverpool.
Obviously, we've got a preview coming up after this video. So we've had a few questions sent in by people. So shall we just go straight and tackle it?
Might as well.
Well, before we do, rumour has it it's somebody's birthday.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
It is, but technically today.
When people are
because
listening,
obviously
yeah.
people are watching and listening this now. So, happy birthday to
Happy
Christopher.
birthday, big man.
I'm 32 before Mark says I'm 40 or something like
Are
that.
you 32, mate?
42.
Well, I was trying to remember today. I was trying to remember today. You ever been at that age?
Oh,
where
yeah.
you-
35
You know
in
he was
October.
he was in 5 classes above you at school. Therefore, come on, work
I
it
thought he
out.
was a teacher.
I'm 32 tomorrow.
Really?
Today.
Again,
Really? Do you want to see my driving license?
No.
I can tell by your face. You're not.
Bloody hell. I'm 3 years older than you.
Aye.
No, I don't know. I really
You don't look it.
I didn't, like.
Look at least 7.
I'm better. I'm better.
But before we get started, we're going to have a little forfeit. So I want Christopher pick a footballer's name that plays in our first team.
Just any?
Any first team player.
Does it got to be his first name or just
Pick
a name?
Pick a player.
I don't know. I'm really scared of what to say. Yeah. Shaw.
Sure. Right. Take a
thought you were gonna pick a
player. Pick a player.
Take a
Pick a player.
I'm really scared where this is going.
Joe Linton.
Joe Linton. I'll pick Almiron. Adam, pick a player.
Dumb it.
Right. So we've got Dummett,
Shaw.
Shea, Shaw,
Shea.
Joe.
Joe
Joe
Linton,
Almiron.
Almiron. Okay. So the forfeit is during the podcast recordings.
Right.
If any of those names get said, the forfeit is you've got to have a drink.
Oh, I'm drinking throughout anyway.
And it just so happens...
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I'll just get this little shot glass out.
That better not be tequila or something like that. That cannot be tequila.
Hey, you got a bag prep and everything.
I literally need a bucket.
It is the birthday podcast, so we've got some shots for shots.
What sort of shots are those?
I've got the common.
It's all right.
Well, I think it's just for me, mate, I'm being honest.
Happy days, best in the world. Also, every time he says
So
one of them
every
players-
time
Is that any time I say it or you say it? Oh, we can it now.
anybody says it. So anytime.
No, it should be when he says it.
Jesus Christ.
That's awful. That. I hate
What is it?
Tequila, isn't it?
Tequila.
Oh, fuck. That's the one drink
So-
I can't stomach, you know.
Shots for shots.
Yeah, we go.
So every time we're here,
One of those
one
four
of
players.
those 4 players' names, you've got to have a shot. We better leave this bottle just
Mark could just sit here and go.
quite handy.
Just say it all like
No.
that.
No, it's got to
I
be. It's
fucking
got to
hate
be
you.
in context.
Oh, yeah, I've got
got to
you.
be in
Or if
context.
it's in a question.
Perhaps.
Right, let's go straight in then.
Best of luck, mate. You might not see your 33rd.
So, Kevin Monaghan, it's a prediction of the Liverpool game. What scoreline is respectable?
I think anything under 4.
3-0.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's Liverpool. Liverpool has got a 100% record since the start of the season.
Champions of Europe.
Have they won every single game?
They haven't lost one, have
They haven't. I think they are 100%.
I'm sure they won. Have they? I may be completely
I'd
wrong.
love to know
But
the last time they lost at Anfield, to be honest. I can't
it's a
even
while.
Saturday.
Yeah.
They beat Barcelona 4-0 last year at home,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're in for a tough after.
I think if it's under 3, that's a good result.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
hey, look, we went to Spurs and came
Well, there's a
away
question
with the
about that
result.
later on. There's
So-
a question similar to the Spurs game. Next one sent in is by GEORDIE Dubravka. He says, let's say every single player we have is fully fit and available to be selected. What would your formation and starting 11 be?
Well, Almiron picked up a bit of a knock
I
last
didn't
night.
see it. I didn't see it. I'm going to see it. You've got to be clever here if you're making me drink these shots. You're going to have to be clever how you go around this.
Almiron picked up a bit of a knock last night, scoring his first goal for Paraguay.
He did,
so
yeah.
He clattered into
Worst celebration ever.
Into the post.
Yeah, it
so
didn't look good, did it?
No.
He's all right.
He's up, yeah, he was
apparently he's all right, but
Yeah, no, he's all right. Like, but
So starting 11, obviously, Dubravka in goal.
yeah.
I'm really careful what I'm saying.
I got goosebumps.
Who's going to be playing in defence?
In defence, it's going to be
Mike Williamson.
Kraft,
Oh, fuck my Kraft. I will be.
Lascelles,
Yep.
Fernandez.
Are you sure?
Is Richie back?
He's back running, isn't he?
No,
he's not back.
he's
back
not.
running.
He's still.
So I think Williams will play.
Yeah.
It'll be the same formation as always, won't it?
I think it'll be as it was. Bar probably Almiron. That's maybe the one that's up in the air just to see, because obviously he's got a long trip ahead of him back.
Is Joe Lennon being played anyway? Shit myself there! Shit! Fuck, this is going to be a long night.
All the best for you.
Shot. Right. Let's keep counters home. There's the first one. So let's so
time he has one, you've got
down
to
in the
consider
comments. Let's have some predictions. How many shots do you think he's going to have tonight?
I gotta do another one!
That's a big shot class, you know.
That's a sherry glass.
Oh,
I wouldn't have been filling them up like it was just the first one, just to break them in.
Well, you'd be breaking after two. It's awful, isn't it? It's
what is it?
cat's fit.
Tequila.
That is not tequila.
It is tequila.
Is it from Turkey? Like,
That's proper Mexican tequila. That.
Someone's back gate on the front of the thing.
Oh, fucking, I'll be coming out my back gate soon.
It's called Casco V.
Oh, do you know when something just sits in your... Oh,
It sounds like a decent left back, like.
So
Blanco Casco Viejo.
So what were you saying?
nothing. Carry on.
I don't know if actually it's even got the gate like on the bottom. It's lovely.
It's
that.
fancy
It
stuff,
is nice,
that, man.
Like, lovely.
Aye, the bottle's lovely.
Aye.
What's in it? It's
Smells
not.
awful.
So I expect it to be a
Oh, it's got my eyes watering.
3-5.
unchanged team from the last game.
Well, if Almiron doesn't play, if he is hurt, do you think Mutu will come in for him and it'll be Atsu, Mutu? And
I think he's probably the only choice, isn't he? Because Maximin's not quite right yet, is he?
So,
I'm not getting involved.
You're still struggling. It is.
Like, it's taking all my concentration not to be sick.
Wash it down with your lager.
Not to be sick right now.
Just be like Desperados then. Other vol lagers are available.
You're sweating as well. Look at this sweat.
Mate, it's the worst.
It
is the
I
worst.
keep getting whiffs of it from
Hey,
you, man.
you're only 32 once.
I don't think
Because
I'll
you'll
make
be dead after
33.
tonight.
Jesus. Next. I'm reading the questions
What
first
was
before I
the
say them.
question? I can't even remember.
Formation.
Formation, start 11.
As it was.
So last game carried on.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
well,
think so. Almiron.
I didn't see it. That didn't count.
I think
doesn't
it
count.
was a sick because
Nah.
you said the first syllable.
I had to say the full name.
I think if Almiron's not fit, by the way, I think he might go back to just two up front.
You reckon?
And play three in midfield to try and keep it really
I
tight.
think you might go 4-5-1.
Oh, no, I don't think he'll change it that badly. I mean, badly's the wrong way. I just meant that much. I think.
Three.
Because I think he could go Mutu and Joe Linton up front, and then have three centre midfielders possibly. But
So go 3-5-2 maybe.
yeah, not that I like that formation. I don't know why there's flies every time here. I don't like that formation, but I just think away from home against them, he might think, right, listen, let's try and pack the midfield, perhaps, But we'll see. We'll see.
Literally dripping here.
But I think that would be
That's what she
encouraging for
said.
Atsu, because I think Atsu has he been away playing or not? Or Atsu, has he been away?
I kind of think.
I don't think so.
Has he not? Because
think so.
he's been very impressive. But I think
No, he's been posting photos of wearing Guillermo t-shirts.
he
has.
Yeah, excellent. All right.
See that link? See that link?
Available with a discount.
20% discount using the AWSF
Check out
pod
the comments.
at the checkout. Next question. Let's read this first.
No.
Mark Blackford sends in, do you lads think Bruce being in the won't last past Christmas bracket is a touch harsh, considering the fact he's picked up a win in London, which you are famously shite at doing, and yes, 2 disappointing results, and a tough loss to Arsenal, but I think it's harsh myself. So basically, as a fan base, well, as everyone really, are we being a bit too harsh on Bruce?
I don't think everybody is. There's people that are obviously willing him to do well, give him an opportunity to try and get something together. There's the others that just hate him just because of the circumstances and want him to lose every game. We looked at last week, didn't we, the fixtures coming up in the run-up of the next couple of months, and there's some very difficult fixtures coming up.
He had a bit of a bite back, didn't he, in the press conference before the Watford game, if I remember right. We're saying that he should be getting more respect from people, not fans, but from the media, because he's managed X hundred amount of games. But then the flip side of that is,
if I was him, I wouldn't be bringing up his records.
Like the flip side of that is, yes, you've managed that many games, but your win percentage in the Premier League is really, really bad. So you'd probably think you would have kept a bit quiet about that one. But I think he's fighting his corner, isn't he?
He is. Some of the criticism is harsh. Some of it's justified when you look at his past history. But
then you've got to remember that the clubs that he was managing in the Premier League were the clubs that he was bringing from the Championship.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's slightly different now.
Yeah.
As in he's managing a team that have been 2 years in the Premier League now.
To be fair, he's probably still managing at the same level, that he was, because his job is to keep winning the Premier League, which is what his job was at the other clubs. So
I think it's harsh to have a go at him. I think to maybe expect results to be bad. Inside the joint is actually his managerial record isn't great. We're going to struggle, and he might not be here at Christmas.
Yeah.
I think if you have that opinion or that thought, I don't really think that's a bad thing. What I do think's bad though is not giving the guy a chance. I think that's what's bad, because it's not like he's. I always mention the same guy. He's not like a Joe Kinnear where I hated him, just hated everything to do with him. So I'm totally opposite of that. I want him to do really well. And honestly, I've said this every time. Every time I hear him speak, I like him more. Yeah.
He does come over well. He does come over.
It might not work out. It's fair enough, but while he is here, he'll have 100% my back.
He's got to be given the same sort of time as a fan base that we gave McLaren, really, because McLaren. Same sort of bracket.
I don't know, he probably got a little bit too long in.
No, but as a fan base, we wanted him gone when the results were gone, but there was the club that extended that, and that's the way it went. But as a fan base, when he first came in, we went, right, we'll give him a chance and see how it goes. It's exactly the same with Bruce. It's exactly the same with any manager that comes in.
I think that Bruce is... I can't remember many managers that's been hated this early. Before anything, his fans only
it's really for no reason, is it?
It's because that's the thing. It's only because of
no reason. Sorry, to do with him.
Yes, to do with him. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Next question.
I think I don't know if, as I say, we've got some tough games coming up in the next, but every game's tough. So it's we'll see. But I think it's harsh to say that he'll be gone by Christmas.
So next question is sent in by Jordan Pricey. He says, would you stick with Longstaff whilst he's not at his best, or switch him out for Shelvey for Liverpool game? I feel Shelvey has a bit more of a point to prove.
Absolutely not.
I think they've both got a point to prove.
Absolutely not.
I would always choose Longstaff over Shelvey. Always.
Let's see where Deka goes with this one.
Yes, I'd still stick with Longstaff, because it's kind of been proven that when he's in the team we win games. So you kind of got to play him. What I will say though, he has to be better. He's got to be playing better, because he hasn't been the same player that I've seen last year yet. Obviously, I've seen the comments that he's saying that he was a bit disturbed when the Man United rumours came in, and that's obvious, isn't it? It's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? But he's had a bad injury. He's just come back. I suppose you've got to give him a bit of time. The one thing you'll always get is energy out of him. You'll always get, and the one thing I do love, I don't think he goes hiding like Shelvey does. Shelvey goes hiding if things are going against him. He'll just not really want the ball or whatever. Longstaff will never do that. However, there's sometimes we've watched him so far this season, he's lost the ball under no pressure whatsoever.
It's not losing the ball, it's just giving it
to someone else,
isn't it?
So that has to stop, and he'll know that as well, of course. But I'd probably stick with Longstaff. But I agree with what you're saying about Shelvey. I still think that I've always thought there's a player in there, and there is someone. I think he will be wanting to prove his point, but I don't think it'll happen soon, to be honest.
I said at the start of the season that this is a season where Shelvey needs to come in and prove his worth at the club. And so far, I know only four games in.
I'm stunned that I'm absolutely stunned that he's been dropped already, because I honestly thought Bruce would have. I don't know. I just felt that Bruce would have wanted to give him a go, if that makes sense. Like give him.
Well, I think that's very telling for me though.
And then within 3 games,
He did. He had him in at the start of the season, the first few games and stuff like that, and then as the performances of him and the team have kind of shown, once he's gone out and Longstaff and Hayden are back in the middle together, we've looked a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's the same argument that I have all the time with him. Is he's too slow on the ball. He slows down our play. He drops too deep, which then means that the rest of the midfield drop in deeper with him. With strikers have got to come further back as well. I think there's a time and a place for him.
I still thought Cabai used to come so deep. He was in the Gallagher half the time getting the ball.
He would, but the difference with him is he'd then look to go forward.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
I don't know. I just think that I don't know. I think there's not many players have his vision.
No, absolutely
not.
not.
I think he does struggle with legs.
Yeah.
And in a 2-man midfield, he does struggle. There's no doubt. So you'd have to stick with Longstaff on that.
If you give him time and space in midfield, then he'll do massive amounts of damage. But he's certainly not going to get that against Liverpool.
I agree there. Actually, there's certain times you play him. What I would say at the start of this season, we were playing 3 in centre midfield, which I thought would have suited him. But the idea that we played 3 in centre midfield, had Hayden was pretty much right wing almost about 3. It just wasn't working that at all. I still think if you had Hayden doing the job that we know Hayden can do, Shelvey wouldn't then perhaps have to do as much work.
Hayden has looked impressive going forward though, hasn't he, at times?
Oh, he has. I don't know. Well, again, since we've moved him back in the centre with Longstaff, the odd time that Hayden will still go forward, but when early on in the season, it's only been 4 games now, but I mean right at the start of the season, he was basically a right winger.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And that was just ridiculous, you know what I mean? So,
but even look at the cup game when obviously Shelvey played the full game. Yeah. The first half he was terrible, second half he was much better, but the difference in that half is he was a lot higher up the pitch.
He got caught in possession so many times in that game as well, which you just can't do at this level.
So next one, Liam sends in. What do you think about the planned boycott against Brighton?
Absolute nonsense.
I've literally had no idea about a planned boycott until then.
So is that one account empty for Ashley trying to push it?
Let's be honest, and I said this, I've taken part in the 3 boycotts gone past. I think it was obviously the Arsenal game that just went. Who was before that?
Spurs.
Spurs not the first one. Was Spurs not the first one? I think there was one in between.
When you're saying boycotts, do you mean like there was one when we had to leave on a certain minute, or do you mean boycotts?
That was a Cardiff game. No, I think it was the Cardiff one. No, because that fucked up because there was people changing the times left, right and centre. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be this minute, and then there's some bitty big bollocks got involved and went.
There was one last season where you had to go.
That's why don't we go in this minute?
Where we went in late.
There's one where we went in late and they turned the tellies off the concourse.
Yeah. There's only been 2 where we've been stayed away, and it's Spurs and then.
So most of the things that are being planned and being planned well, I have taken part in. Now going forward, any boycotts, the Arsenal game proved.
Well, the nonsense about this Brighton one for me is that they're claiming that the boycott will work because we're playing Brighton.
Well, yeah. So ticket sales will drop anyway.
Exactly, but they're saying people are boycotting.
No,
they're not. They're just not going because we're not playing a good team.
It'd be similar like Watford. The attendance fee Watford that dropped because it was Watford. If it was something like Man U, Man City, Liverpool played full attendance.
Exactly. So you can't claim that a boycott is going to be successful or it'll work against a club that aren't going to bring a lot of their supporters with it. So they'll have minimal tickets. So level 7 will be practically empty because they won't bring any fans, and the demand isn't there because it's not a big club. And the other point is it's on live TV. So it's not people that are boycotting the game. It's just
you could twist it to say
it's not an attractive.
You could twist it to say by using that fixture, you can kind of manipulate the attendance to say
and that's for me
was a success.
Why it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's suiting your narrative, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's 100%.
You wouldn't dare do it against one of the top clubs because you know for fine well.
We're playing Man United. We're playing Man United the week after.
Why not choose that game?
Point in case.
Also on the telly. It's also a late kick-off, isn't it? Oh no, it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday half 4.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's the first half of it. What you just said there. It's bollocks as far as I'm concerned.
I think boycotts. I think you might as well knock them on the head now. they've been proven that they don't work. They've been proven that not enough people get involved with boycotting. If you're gonna do something where everyone can get involved. Do something in the ground.
The problem
just something.
The problem is everybody can't get involved because as the boycotts have proven, as the late arrivals have proven, you don't reach a wide enough audience to impact and to reach every single person. Even when it was in the mass hype of it last season, before games, giving out thousands and thousands of leaflets, having posters, having flags, advertising
in
all
the
of
press,
the boycotts of what was happening, it still didn't work.
No, I agree.
Because, as I said time and time again, that it isn't as bad as people think it is. That's why there's still 45,000 go, because it's not as bad as the 5,000 or 6,000.
The only time that boycotts work, because people like point to the likes of Blackpool, they point to Italy where Lazio have done things, Inter Milan have done things, but it's literally the entire stadium has been empty, and that's because it is very, very well organised by ultra groups.
Did you see that one?
Backing and all that kind of thing.
It was a few months back now. I seen it. I'm sure it was a few months back, and it was a silent protest where the stadium was full.
We're good at that.
You couldn't hear a single thing. The only thing you could hear was the players on the pitch, and it sounded weird.
We had one of them in the cup game.
But it just sounds weird when you can physically hear the players shouting towards each other, can't you?
Well, you can constantly hear Matt Ritchie in that cup game.
52,000 you could hear Matt Ritchie anyway.
But I don't think we'd get that either, because I don't think we're going to organise anything.
We'd be too busy ready to moan up all the way, wouldn't we?
Aye, like it would be ball go for a throw-in. Oh fuck, you know what I mean? I just don't think we're going to.
I don't think there's as much of that this season.
It's only been 2 games.
No, but I think that is
give him a chance.
And I think that is quite possibly because of the fact that the ones that are staying away are the ones that were more disillusioned and more vocal when things were going wrong on the pitch.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
I'm not saying everybody, because obviously we know people that are vocal supporters and stuff like that have decided to stay away. But
Nah, I can't lie, I've pissed and moaned at some performances, I'll tell you that.
Oh, you're
Perez.
Danny, aren't you? Quite you are as well. But I do think sometimes, like, there was one in the first half of the last game when Atu gave it away in his own half.
That didn't happen. Atu's brilliant.
He got played the ball and he went to pass it literally 5 yards and it went straight to their player. Everyone went, fuck, everyone just went mental. But we got it straight back and I thought they would go again. It's just straight on somebody's back immediately. I think sometimes they're a little bit harsh. But there's times where I've seen we try and take the 5th or 6th throw-in of the game and we lose it straight away. And even I'm like, for Christ's sake, man, you can't even take a throw-in. So you're obviously going to get annoyed, aren't you? Not everything's rosy, is it? But I just think back to the comment.
Speaking of throw-ins, why can so many professional footballers not take a throw-in?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
The amount that you see, it's in the dexter just down. And I'm like, how are you?
We're terrible at throw-ins as well.
Do you know what
There's
pisses me off?
No movement whatsoever.
When we've done it, I think William's done it, the Watford game. We got the ball for throwing towards our corner flag, and he's nearly at the halfway line by the time he's taking it.
Yeah,
the referee sent him back as he...
Yeah, he kept trotting along and trotting along.
He kept going, didn't he?
But the referees need to be a bit more assertive.
The linesman's standing right there, so why doesn't the linesman just say, "Hold on, mate, you need to get back there"?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
So Thompson sends in, will 9 behind the ball be enough to stop Liverpool?
No.
They're great, aren't they?
They're amazing.
They're absolutely fantastic team.
You're not winning the Champions League being average, are you?
They're not bar the front three really.
Yeah?
They're a fantastic team, mate.
I think Henderson's good, mate. I think he's so narrated him. Everyone hates him because he's a Mackin, but he's...
What about Van Dijk?
Aye, Van Dijk's
Robinson's great.
Unbelievable. What do you call him?
Suspect defender, and he's good.
Alexander.
Unbelievable player, man. They're just class.
Mate,
all
the
over
good
the pitch.
players throughout the pitch, like. You can't just say the top 3, like, because...
When they lose the
that
ball,
front three get them out of so much shit.
we could see that.
The problem is that
any team that's got good strikers,
they're
you know what I mean?
they're like us back in the early 90s where it's just
No, they wouldn't
attack.
What for me, when they lose the ball, there is impressive is when they've got it. They lose the ball and they just hound it off you, man, within seconds. The intensity they play at is just second to none. Like, oh God, you could really get.
I'll worry about Saturday. Like.
Well, I must admit though, I was more I don't know.
Have you accepted the result already before it's even happened?
I think I was more worried about the Spurs one, being honest, coming off the
Really?
back. I thought we were going to get absolutely hammered there, like. But this one, I don't know if it's just because... I don't know if it's because it's Liverpool. I'm just thinking, well, it is what it is. If we get beat 3 or 4-0, so be it. I won't be bothered.
We won't be the first team, we won't be the last team this season.
Absolutely not. Our season is not dependent on Saturday.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
No,
so
I agree.
Be alright.
So next one, Jason Hobby sends in, is it disappointing that it seems that Southgate doesn't pick Newcastle United players for internationals, or should we sit back and be grateful that we don't have to worry about them getting injured?
Yes.
I don't think we've got anyone good enough, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen some dross on there last night, but
I would probably say...
You look at some of the players that are getting picked in that team.
who do you think? Well, tell us an England player should be in there for us.
Was Lingard
Shelvey
involved?
Should Shelvey be in?
Nah.
The
only one is probably Lascelles.
We don't even want him in one team. We don't even want him to start for us.
Maybe not this
To
season.
be honest with you, you're seeing Lascelles, I don't think he's anywhere close. I would probably say, if anyone, it would be...
You can't tell me Lascelles isn't better than Michael Keane.
But is he really going to get much game time, though?
Michael Keane's playing?
Is he?
He did yesterday.
How is he? He is only in that team.
But Sadie said about Maguire. We said exactly the same thing. How is Maguire going to the World Cup and Lascelles is not? £80 million later.
Yeah.
Like,
The only one
we don't
where
even want that guy in our team, man.
Could say would be in with a shot would probably be Hayden, just because of how well he done last season and going into this season. I don't know, of course, nowhere near the starting lineup. Not at all. But he might be a player that can come in and do a job if needs be.
Friendlies and stuff like that.
It's the only case I could argue.
Longstaff will. Longstaff
should get in
he'll
there.
be the
Longevity,
player.
yeah.
If he continues like he did last season, players like that, no problems at all. Because Rice got picked when I actually thought Longstaff should have.
Did Longstaff have a career at youth level through England? I don't think he did he? Did they not was he not bypassed by the other players? I'm sure I read an interview not long ago and he didn't have much. I'm sure he hasn't.
But I think the one positive
was there not when they were comparing Rice and Longstaff, comparing that they played together for? It might have just been England schoolboys or something like that.
He hasn't played for the 21s or 23s or whatever it is.
23s
but
now,
anyway, the one positive I will say is Southgate is picking players that are a bit left field. You know, before it was always the same clique of players, but you've got Michael Keane in the world's playing, and you know, I seen some dross on there last night. But
that's it. He's picking from.
I do think that
he's looking for me. He's looking at the league.
He's
looking at the league table and thinking, oh well, that's a top 6 club. You've got to pick an England player from there.
I don't know.
He
picked that Burnley, didn't he? Everyone was banging on about the centre half.
Burnley had a very good season last year, didn't they?
Wow. He's in the league table. Aye, but Burnley are still shite. They're still Burnley. Do you know what I mean? No offence to any Burnley fans watching. I got wrong before. I saying something like that, didn't I? Was a Brighton fan kicking off?
It was a Brighton fan kicking off.
You're shite now. So no, for me though, I think don't get us wrong. I'm not saying the Lascelles couldn't. All I mean is at the moment, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Fuck's sake, man. He shits himself every time a player comes towards him. Imagine him on international level. Oh yeah, man. He can't be getting anywhere near.
Let's be honest. I worry with Lascelles being included in our starting 11. So I'd worry about being in the English starting 11.
That's what I've said.
You go back to when it was the World Cup, where he played very, very well.
He should have had a call-up. I agree with it. He should have. Even to being around that environment in the team. I agree.
Just get him in get him into a friendly squad, even when it's when they name 45 players in and they're only going to.
No, I 100% agree with you there. But
when they're picking 15-year-olds that play for bloody Chelsea that have had 10 minutes in the first team and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I've always said, and I'm going back to the Mick Richards days. I was playing for Bolton, I remember, and I would have any player that's in form. So if someone's back, I think it was Mick Richards scored 10 goals in a day or something, and I was like, right, he must be in the team. Didn't get picked. Yeah. They took somebody else who hadn't scored in about 10 years because it was a name. For me, you just take players on form. So
then as soon as he went to Man City.
No, I'm totally wrong. Sorry, I'm totally wrong. It wasn't Mick Richards, shite, man. There was some striker anyway for Bolton, right? It was absolutely banging them in. He's shite, don't get us wrong. But at the time, I thought it was years ago.
Kevin Davies.
No, he was black. He was black. I just can't remember his name now. It'll come to us.
Emil Heskey.
No, I can't remember.
Played for Bolton.
It was definitely Bolton.
JJ Kocher.
No, honestly, he was banging them in, and I was like, you just take him. You've got to take him. I even used to say about Phillips all the time. Phillips was banging them in for Sunderland. He has to be part of the team. Never got a cap.
The problem with the problem with Phillips, he came up in a generation where strikers were unbelievable. English strikers were fantastic. So you had like Shearer, Sheringham, Fowler, Ferdinand.
I'm sure Ferdinand was.
To be fair,
You take players on form.
I'm-
Ferdinand wasn't scoring what Phillips was at that point.
No,
He was like,
I'm
I didn't care what he
probably-
But then Shearer wasn't scoring before going in the Euro '96.
kind of drop Shearer though, can you?
But he wasn't. He hadn't gone. He had gone. God knows how many games without scoring. Then he went in the Euros and was
Yeah.
fantastic.
But tell us how many other times that's how many years
Happened,
ago?
yeah.
I can't tell you another time that's happened.
Yeah.
You were 96 the last time it happened. Fuck me.
Harry Kane.
He's shite.
Harry Kane got picked for England when he wasn't scoring as well, isn't he? But
I literally hate Harry Kane. You know.
I don't like him.
I don't, my mate Emma, he absolutely loves him, and every time he scores, he like messages going, "Seen that finish?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Do you just dislike him because of Spurs?
No,
Because
it's got
I know
nothing to
you
do
I
hate
with
dislike
Spurs.
him because he's a cheat, and he's got a great big fat tongue in his
It's
Did you
nose.
see that dive against Arsenal?
He's
though?
horrendous.
I know.
He's a cheat.
That was the worst.
He did it against when he was playing for England the other night.
That isn't the reason I don't like him. Actually,
The player wasn't anywhere near him, and he went down. Shocking, absolutely shocking.
So Jordan Morris, your mate, your best
Oh,
mate.
yes,
Jordan
right,
Morris,
yeah, Jordan.
his best mate.
He said that question, did he? The one you just read out, sorry.
No, that was
Next one he says,
Jason Hobby.
Hi, Deka, mate. When are we going out for a
No, he
pint?
didn't. He
Is that
says,
the question?
"This one's for Deka.
Oh,
Will you,
friends.
yeah, will you please look at the camera and tell everybody that I am not your mate?"
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. But I'm just saying he's good on Twitter, that's all I'm saying.
Will you look at the camera and say you're not his mate?
I'm not your mate. Oh, he's not my mate, or whatever he wants to say.
Just say, "Jordan Morris, I am not your mate."
Jordan Morris, I am not your mate.
All right, we didn't say that.
Jordan, me and Kris are still your mates. We're your mates.
I'm your mate if you want to be. I just think he's good on Twitter.
He sent in saying, "Are we lads?
Especially
Are
that.
you mate?
Where would you like to see us strengthening in January? I'd like another winger and a
Manager.
goalkeeper to challenge on Amazing. It's amazing. So he wants a winger and another goalkeeper to challenge Dubravka.
Good shout.
As he doesn't rate Dotto, he goes on to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But
yeah.
then, where does that leave? I know Woodman's gone out on loan, but
Woodman's on loan. Darlow.
I tell you what's difficult, right?
Dotto done alright in the cup, didn't he?
He did, but we know what his faults are. We know. But in the cup, I thought he was brilliant, except he's got 2 left feet. But the issue you've got again is of who we are. Who is going to be willing to come and know the number 2? Every
Sitting
single
on the
week.
bench. Yeah.
You're looking
It's
at
hard.
Unless you're looking at it,
older keeper.
older keeper.
Yeah,
like when we got linked with Pepe Reina for a
Yeah,
little
like
while,
people,
didn't we?
because you get people that I know, and it's obviously different clubs, but people go and sit on the bench at Chelsea, go and sit on the bench at Arsenal, probably
Because they're picking a big wage up.
It's them, but
Well, you're right. It's because it's them, isn't it? I mean, but I'm not saying the question's wrong. It's just all I'm saying is it's very difficult to get someone that we think's really good, but is willing to sit as number 2 for the rest of his life.
that's the thing.
You know, I'd hope I'm given. I remember that time.
We're spoiled. We've
very
been spoiled
lucky.
for keepers recently,
Well,
let's be honest.
Wow, we have, yeah.
Let's be honest. But I agree. A keeper probably,
What
but,
was the other
it's,
position? Did you say, or
you said a winger?
Cover for who though?
So, 2 wingers that you've got are...
Well, you've got Atsu, Maxim,
Yeah.
Almiron. Well, possibly. It depends on what you want to say.
fucking asking you.
That's why I let him carry on.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I forgot even about that. And then, well...
I'm figuring it out.
What about Jacob Murphy? What about him, then?
He's on loan,
Yeah.
isn't he? He's doing all right, actually.
Shite. Anyway.
Shite.
He's shite, man.
No, he literally is. Like, I fully agree. We said this from day one, mate.
So it's funny though, isn't it, when you watch a player? I said this at the time when we got him. You can watch someone about 10 or 15 minutes and you know whether or not you've got a good idea anyway if they're going to actually be all right. I watched him for 5 minutes and I was like, fuck.
Who was the last player, though, that you watched and thought, he's crap? Then,
Hayden.
that's a shout.
Yeah.
That is a shout.
I thought he was absolutely
He didn't even
dreadful.
finish the question.
Yeah,
you
but you
were
knew
there.
about it. Mankio?
Watched and what, and thought he was crap and he was good. What were you going to say?
Like, crap, but he's a lot better than what you first judged him on.
Hayden, yeah, definitely.
Nah, I think when Hayden first came in, he was all right.
Was it the championship season he came in?
Yeah.
Yeah, signed from Arsenal, didn't we?
Yeah. I'd say Mankio because...
Mankio did have a pretty... Atsu as well, to be fair.
No, I've never really not liked Atsu, mate, to be honest with you. Didn't I get...
What about...
Sure, I said, yeah, he doesn't go.
Does anyone say their name? Lascelles? He was bad when he came in. When he first came in.
Not alarmingly bad that I personally can think of. One player that I remember who I did think was really bad. You're gonna say his name there, weren't you? Shea.
I was going to say the other one, and I realised.
I remember watching
the left back.
when we got beat in the Cup of Forest away.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was awful. Got beat 3-1. I remember that game. Oh, I was furious the other day. Actually, sorry, I know I'm going off here.
He's reliving it. Yeah, look how angry he got.
Really pissed us off.
Was it Grant Hanley?
I heard it 3 times by 3 different people, right, about how solid we looked, right? It's on a Rafa, and which we did. But the Watford game. So someone, I don't know if it was Mark McDonald or I don't know who it was, right? But someone said, what worries me is that we were trying to get a goal against Watford to win the game, but we looked open at the back. And under Rafa, that would have never happened. We were always solid. I cannot get behind that argument, like, because I had loads of games I was thinking. I remember Wolves we got last minute were conceded. There was Brighton we got beat a header. Bournemouth we got beat a header in the 92nd minute. I didn't think we were ever tight at the end of the game. And I used to always say that my biggest surprise on the Rafa was how open we used to be towards the end of the game. In that Forest game, we equalised. Who scored in the last minute? It was someone new as well, I'm sure I scored. Someone scored and we went 1-1. And then can you remember who it was?
Okay.
Forest in the Cup.
Rondon.
Yes, Rondon's first goal it was. I think we hadn't scored for it, and Rondon scored to make it 1-1. And then that was in the 90th minute. We got beat 3-1. We conceded 2.
Yeah, we did. So we went on and got battered after that, didn't we?
Like, how was that even
Because we scored that late on, and I thought we'll go on to win this. Then we conceded 2 in like ridiculous
and I was like,
done.
So, the question was, Shane, that game was absolutely awful. And crazy, I see where he's coming. See, he's going for the national one. Just the other day there.
So someone asked a question about that. So
unreal. He needs to stop doing that because he'll be gone.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
So the next one, based on that player that you just mentioned.
No, you have to read the question out word for word. You have to read the question out.
I don't.
He's going to spell it out.
You have to read the question. Or it doesn't count.
Could that Swiss player,
Don't know who you mean.
the lush one,
Who?
plays alongside
What's his name?
Lascelles?
And who else he played alongside?
He's called Shabian Fur.
No, he's a brother.
I don't think he is.
Could he play as a centre defensive midfielder when Lejeune is fit and keep the Welsh left back as left centre back?
Nah.
No.
Do we not get asked this question every week?
Yeah. It's easy to say that he could, but no.
People are desperate to see him in midfield, aren't they?
Keep him at centre back. He's doing a fantastic job there. Let him keep going on these little adventures up the top of the pitch and let him do what he does.
I think the fact that he doesn't play in midfield allows him to get forward
Because
more
he's unmarked.
People
don't realise he's
expect it.
unmarked.
Yeah.
He's literally going up the pitch. Everyone else is marked by a player going in the box, and Swiss lad is just running through thinking, just me, yeah.
Well, that's it, because the only players that can pick him up and mark him are the strikers. And the strikers aren't going to track back with him.
They're not going to physically follow him. They'll just go and
that's
hover
why
around
he
the box.
gets that space.
I don't think
Whereas
he's quick enough across the ground to play defensive midfield.
That's
I
it.
think you've got to have a bit of pace. Like.
And he'd give away far too many free kicks and stuff.
I will honestly say this. I still think he's a red card waiting to happen. And he dives in on challenges, especially in the box as well. Remember the Norwich game? I know everyone was bad, but in the Norwich game, 2 or 3 times, he was going to ground when their players are in the box. And I always worry when he goes in. He always looks really pissed off, as if like he's annoyed the way the game's going, so he just wants to go in and really hurt someone. But he's class. Like, I mean,
So Mark Blackford, he goes on to say that he thinks he does have the ability to do it, and it could be massive against the big teams.
I'm not convinced.
Let's remember, if you're going to put him in that position, you're losing one of the midfielders. Because you're changing formation, doing it that way.
If you played 3...
Is he going to sacrifice a striker or something like that to get him in there? Or does he drop somebody else?
If it was 3-5-2, you could say you're going to play Shea, Longstaff and Hayden as your 3, perhaps.
If I've got any thoughts on that, it's keep him exactly where he
100%
is.
agree. Yeah. We did it with Carcini. I thought Carcini had all the maintenance to be a defensive midfielder. I think
They're very similar, aren't they?
The only kind of position that you could play him in there is more like a bit of a sweeper role. Just in front
to be honest,
of the back
like just leave him where he is. He's doing a decent job. Like, we don't need to dig about with it. He's fine where he is.
Well, there's a reason why he has never played there. He's never, from what I know, he's never ever played defensive midfield. There has to be a reason for it.
The thing is, he's passing wise, it's always longer balls and diagonals and stuff like that. You never really see him having to play quick little, passes short and in midfield and through balls and stuff like that. Is it?
He plays some class balls on the ground, though. Like,
like cuts the grass, doesn't it?
Unbelievable some of them passes he does. Like, I know he can do the big 50-yarders and that, but there's some that he does that are just.
Let's be honest. We think the likes of Shelvey brings it to the team the Hollywood passes. He can do it as well.
Oh shit.
Oh, well, Lejeune does normally as well.
Yeah.
So you've got two of
It's
them.
him picking it up on the right
The
side of our
diagonal's
box and the
just left,
diagonal on the
Lejeune
left
just
is
bombs
just
them
mint.
out. Yedlin
Yeah.
when he plays constant.
So, Francis Marshall says, do you think we can replicate what happened at Spurs, or are Liverpool just a different class? Liverpool are that next step up. They're a different level.
Yeah.
Just look of how they ended last season. Look of they went and won the Champions League. Impressive display there. Then look how they've started this season.
No one really.
I think there's got to be a similar approach to it, isn't it? And like you've got to, you've got to keep things tight and then hit them on the break.
But let's look at the record at Anfield, like Deka mentioned earlier on. When was the last time they got?
I can't tell
be
you.
there.
They never lose ever.
There's not many teams that can go through an entire season not getting beat. You could, you think Man City did it. Was it last season?
I don't think they lost at home last season.
Arsenal did it
They drew it.
back years and years ago. But
You talking about us home? I was going to say because we
Just
beat
in
Man
the-
City.
I'm saying.
no, that was last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, last
I'm
season.
just saying at home. They're invincible at home. And the one thing that would be interesting. It would be nice to see can we cause them any problems. Eh?
Can we get a couple of chances?
Let's take the result on the chin, right? You might get beat 3-0, you might get beat 4. But is there going to be periods of the game where we'll look threatening?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping to see. Just to, you never know. Certainly, if we've got Atsu and if Almiron did play, there's a lot of pace there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pace, and you might be able to hurt them on the break, possibly.
I worry about how we'll play with Brazilian striker up top and Van Dijk, because we saw it against Watford, where the Watford defenders were just clearing the balls, just head out gone. We've got to keep that at his feet.
Absolutely. And
Or on his chest.
The key thing is he has to have players around him. You know, I mean, he isn't going to have much time to be able to chest it down and hold him off. Van Dijk will just have him gone. You know what I mean? Because he's that good. You know.
Right, we'll fire through these. Keegan Ruddock sends in, where do you think we will finish?
We can't answer that question.
We can't, because we've already answered it on the questions. And with little envelopes, remember?
We can't answer that.
Envelopes in.
Envelopes.
So at the end of the season,
You could, surely.
no, we can't, because then we'll know. At the start of the season, we'll fill little envelopes in, questions which are answered, so we'll not answer that, right? You'll have to watch the very last podcast.
Tune back in May to find out.
I think third.
Bottom.
So Chris Hall sends in, like Deka, he's always been a big fan of Shelvey, but it's time for him to go. Off the ball, he doesn't do enough. Sad thing is, I think he'll end up in the EFL. He was suited to the EFL, as we were the big boys, whereas now we can't carry him in the Premiership. Thoughts?
Definitely wouldn't get rid of him. Like, I wouldn't clear him out the door, because I know you got Key coming in. Thanks very much. I'd rather get rid of him. I agree with half of what he's saying. Yeah, but I think to be able to have Shelvey on your bench to bring on isn't the worst option.
Shelvey's. I think he's probably easily replaceable.
Yes.
Well, he is when he's not playing. Everyone is.
But I think you could probably go out and spend 15 million and bring a player in just as good.
Well, West Ham wanted him, didn't they?
He's-
He came out and said he was very close
Yeah.
to home, so West Ham obviously sees something in him.
He's sitting there on a lot of money as well,
second
which
highest
is obviously
Oh,
why.
he might be actually top. It's like
He's
70,
on
70
80,
75, I think.
So he's on a lot of money, there's no doubt. Now, don't get us
I
wrong.
mean, I think that's what scuppered getting him out the door.
Maybe you could get rid of him. All I am saying at present, you need to have more
Someone
options, I think,
to
than
take,
what
yeah.
we've got.
I don't think we would miss him, let's be honest. I don't think we would.
Nah, probably not.
If you replace him, you don't miss him. Because he doesn't bring
Doesn't
what
do
you would
enough.
expect him to bring to the team.
Doesn't do enough.
He does, but very,
Very
very rarely.
Yeah. You see it in little shades, and I think that's the thing with me is I watch him in times and again, and I'm like, what a pass that was, or this was class. But it's only 3 things over 90 minutes. It's not.
See,
enough, is it?
like I'm happy with that. It's when he loses the ball
I
that
know.
pisses me off so much.
Slump of
And
his
I
shoulders.
talk about this every single podcast, but it infuriates us. Like when I
You
say him
must
do
hate
it,
Ginola then.
because I was too young for that, though, mate. I was too young.
What I mean, he's no Ginola, just Shelby, by the way.
But Ginola gets away with it because where he was positioned.
shoulders though he shrugged them.
But he does, like Ginola got
No,
away with
I
it
get
because
what
where he
you're
was on the pitch. Shelby can't do that in the centre midfield.
And
As soon as
especially
you
when
lose
it's,
that ball,
when it's in
they're
front
away,
of the
they've
back
gone.
four.
They've gone.
Yeah, well.
And that's what pisses us off.
I suppose I understand what you're saying. I know he's
Because
not-
sometimes you do see an urgency, but the urgency comes too late. And it normally results in a foul because he's 3 seconds behind that player that's gone.
I wondered what he'd be like, you know, if he was in a really good team. Like
it's having that time, space, and
But he
to
was in
be
Liverpool,
able to just
wasn't
do it.
I think he was a bit unlucky actually at Liverpool, like, to be fair.
He'd be fantastic in the Italian league.
Yeah, he's had a bit
That's
of time, like.
France, like he is much more suited
Could
to
you
the continental
imagine
game
if
of
he
having
had-
time
if he
and
had
space to play.
If he's at a team that just has 80% possession,
Yeah.
like a real,
Be fantastic.
he'd just be fucking pinging them all night long, man.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he? I think anyway.
So Neil G. sends in, hi Neil, says, do you think we will see Gale play for us again, or do you think it's time that he's fit? He'll be sold in January.
Well, I think Bruce likes him, but the issue you've got is getting him fit. They don't know what this calf problem is. They don't know what the issue is with his
So I
calf,
mentioned before we started recording the podcast that Gale was in centre box at the weekend.
They give him a rest, a total break.
So yeah, they'll give him a total break. So I got
Well, to
sent
be
a
fair,
photo
a
of him
lot of
playing
players
football with
were-
a young'un in centre box.
Yeah, a lot of players were away.
Yeah. That's international break,
Breaks
so it
and
does
stuff
happen.
like that. So you know they've got to go away and have a rest, a bit of sunshine.
It just worries me they don't know what it is. They've come out and says we do not know what his injury is. You're fucked. They sent him for scans and they don't know what the problem is. So,
So Neil also follows up saying, do you think Carroll will ever be fit enough to play a full 90 minutes? Or do you think he'll only ever come on in the 75th minute?
Oh,
We'll see him start a game.
100%.
I don't think we'll
We'll
see
see him
him
start. I
end the same
don't
game.
think he'll last the full game.
Yeah.
He probably hasn't got 90 minutes in it, like. Unless he can stay injury free for a long time, get his self fit.
It's
and all
match
that kind of thing,
fitness
but-
that worries you. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The style, what we ask our number 9 to do, or that striker, sorry, he hasn't got that in the tank. Like,
Yeah.
Because we ask our forward to do
Everything.
everything. So it's
Our signers literally sign themselves. Our strikers.
and he hasn't got the energy to do that.
He's been signed as an impact player, hasn't he?
Which is
To come on and change things when
He's probably the best one that you can probably hope for.
Absolutely agree.
Let's be honest.
Unreal. If you're 1-0 down with 15 minutes to go, especially at home.
even if you 1-0 up as well, just to relieve that pressure on
I
you.
just think it would energise everyone, crowd included. I just feel like everyone would see him coming on. Defenders would be like, fucking hell, he's coming on. Fans would be like, he's coming on.
Yeah.
I just think it's just an amazing option for me. Like I don't see any issues with it.
So we'll end up with Daryl Mitchell Hills. He says I'm going to alter his question a little bit, but what he does send in, he says, using the players from our last match day 18-man squad, which wrestling finisher would each player have? So 18 finishes a lot, so we'll pick one each.
Bloody hell.
So we'll pick one for each other, right?
What one player?
So you pick Deka's, Deka picks I'll pick yours.
Player.
Yeah. So So you choose Deka's player to choose a finisher for?
Atsu.
Right.
Small,
Am
fast.
I picking yours?
No, you're choosing the finisher.
Choosing the finisher straight away. I think it'll be Rey Mysterio's 619.
That's exactly what I had in my head.
Yeah, I think that's what he.
Yeah.
That's what he'd actually do.
Or what's he called? What's he called? Hog whistle or whatever he's called. The little
Hornswoggle.
Oh, like the little.
Hog whistle, did you just call
I
him?
think what his name was.
Hog whistle?
The little.
What's he really called?
The little Irish small fella.
Hog whistle.
His, because obviously they're quite similar in
I
stature.
can't remember what his was, to be honest with you. Can't remember what it was. I was thinking the Newcastle lad. What's he called? Newcastle lad. He's a
Oh,
he's
yeah,
good. He's not
yeah.
into it, but he used to do on the top rope. It was like I don't know. It was like he done like 2 flips before he landed. It was a hell of a move. Like, but I'd go for 619.
Yeah, that's a
shout,
shout. That's a
good shout.
shout. So you pick my player.
Dummett.
It'll be really boring. Leg drop.
And you have to give it a name. You have to name the move.
The East Stand.
The East
Stand.
Not the East Stand, he just leg drops someone. That's the greatest football to do it. Let's be honest, don't we?
I'm taking you to the East End.
Leg drop done. Boring.
Bit of Hogan.
Does the job though.
Is it yours for him or is it me for him?
Me for Mark. Let's go with Dubravka.
Ooh.
It's tough, isn't it?
Dubravka is definitely doing a TLC match.
You reckon?
Yeah, I can see him pulling a ladder into the into the ring.
Every time, and you've said that I just think of IRS, me, for some reason. Remember IRS?
IRS?
Just carry a briefcase, you had red braces on and glasses?
Yeah.
That's what I just think of IRS.
Vaguely, let's be honest.
No idea why. But,
So what's he doing?
He's doing swanton bomb from a
wow.
It's a bit athletic, like, for a minute.
A little bit, yeah.
Is that, he's quite
I think more
tall and
stuff.
lithe, isn't he?
Yeah, fair enough. I think Shea would do the people's elbow. I can just imagine him standing there just looking lush and just like, yeah, have some of this. Bang, bang. See that goal that someone scored the other week there?
No, he shares more of
and on Twitter, they put
Bret
the
the
gif
Hitman Hart for me, like.
They put a gif on Twitter, like, they say a goal, and then it comes up with the person that scored it. It came on and he took off the thing and he done that.
Oh,
and
he
ran
did
off
that.
the
Yeah,
screen.
I've
It's
seen
really
it.
There's another one where he just
same guy, I
as
think it's the
well.
same bloke. I go crap.
I could see Cher being
What was Steve
Bret the
Bruce's big
Hitman
joke?
Hart.
Steve Bruce's.
Steve Bruce would be the big boss man.
Or Rikishi's.
Yeah,
come on.
Face,
Or just Frog Splash. Not off the top rope,
Devon.
obviously, just standing there,
Dino
Frog
Brown,
Splash.
Frog Splash.
Yokozuna was a good, and he used to like sit in the middle and then just sit on you.
Have you not got a Dino Brown story?
Used to
I have, yeah.
stick his arse in the faces,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
What's your Dino Brown story?
What did I say?
Oh, we'll have to see it.
Right, well. So, my mate had his own, well, his dad owned a wrestling business and he paid for Dino Brown and Mankind or Mick Foley to come over. I was sitting getting pissed and that and just cracking on about stories, and Mick Foley was on about Austin times and stuff, and then Mick asked him, with the Rock in the Nation, like, how does he come up with these like sayings and stuff like that? Like, he's got like, if you smell the Rock's cooking and all this type of shit. And he was like, and Dino says, actually, funny enough, we're in a hotel room, and Farouk, he said Farouk was an absolute machine in the sack, just an absolute machine, just run through women all the time. So anyway,
Allegedly.
the Rock and Farouk were on this one girl. Rock was
Allegedly.
had a bit of a break, and Farouk was just hammering away, and she went, "Whoa, like, yeah, you need to bag in, like, I'm fucking sore, yeah." Like, he went, "Know your role, bitch," and he turned her over, and that's how the Rock come up with "Know your role." So there you go, true story.
Allegedly.
Well, but keep saying allegedly.
True story, allegedly.
But yeah, so yeah, that's one. Well, Darryl will like that one probably. So.
Right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you for the Liverpool preview.
Good night.
Review.